a top 10 pick. Thibodeau slipped, and I am going to grab Thibodeau. The Giants took Khalil Elam. Good for them. Kenyon Green is a guarantee in my mind. He would be such a dream pick right here. Evan Neal is still on the board. I'm not going to pick this now. That 44 pick could be tight end. That 44 pick could be a good linebacker, a good safety. We could drop back one pick and pick up a second rounder for New Orleans. We got options here. Hello and welcome. And we're going to have options again because the Jets are not good enough. There, I said it because it's the truth. We're not good enough. We were exposed even more yesterday. Aside from the fact that we don't have a quarterback, we got problems. Now, if we're willing to waste another year hoping Zach develops, and he might develop, Zach Wilson might become a superstar next year. He might. Or we could waste an entire season listening to the excuses, the same excuses. Drop passes, this and that. I don't know. I saw a lot in him yesterday, but we're running out of time. Is 3 games enough for us to see evidence that he can develop into? They keep saying he's a kid. Give him time to develop. It's going to be year 3. What if he doesn't develop? I saw a little bit of growth yesterday, I guess. I mean, maybe we just screw what's best right now at the moment. Maybe we just play him. Maybe we just play Zach so we know what we have. And no more excuses. If he doesn't get better in the last 3 games, if he passes for 50%, if that's going to be his completion rate, I'm sorry. Everybody says, "Oh, let him develop." But every other quarterback is better than him. Every other quarterback. Fields is better. He is. He's much better. He can't pass, but he can run. He can't pass yet, but at least Fields gives you a chance to win. Trevor Lawrence, forget about. We knew he was better, and he is. Brock Purdy. What's our excuses for that? Brock Purdy has started 3 games in a row, and you cannot find 3 games from Zach Wilson, consecutive games from Zach Wilson, that even come close. Oh, San Francisco's a better team. I mean, it's just excuses after excuses. You all saw me wearing a Zach Wilson jersey yesterday. You all saw me wearing it. You see me rooting for the kid. But how many times are we going to look at 50% completion rate and say it's okay? How many times are we going to watch him loft the ball in the air and say it's okay? At what point do we have to accept? He's got to show growth. Yeah, in the first half, he made some good plays, but this is pathetic. This is what we're hanging out. He made some good plays. Is that good enough? And then what? He couldn't sustain it. And then Sala started to saying at the end of the game, he came back and had that touchdown drive. So we're going to celebrate. It's madness. Against Detroit, he had a touchdown drive. Oh, my God. Call everybody. It's absolutely insane. It's not good enough. He passed for 51% completion. That's pathetic. It's pathetic. And it's not because of drop passes. He was throwing the ball again like just ridiculous passes. Off target by 5 yards. I don't understand what it's going to take. I mean, I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to hope he's one of those stories that needs time to develop. But why doesn't any other great quarterback need time to develop? Why didn't Joe Flacco need time to develop when he got good? Why didn't Zach? Why did Matt Ryan? Why did he not need 2 years to be good? I mean, I'm not even naming great quarterbacks, just average quarterbacks. Why were they able to do it? I mean, I could sit there and point to Justin in San Diego, but we'll say that's an anomaly. But it's still, why are so many other quarterbacks doing it? He's in his 2nd year. Where is the growth? Where's this good quarterback? Because and it's like the Zach lovers, these fanboys, which I was for a long time, and I'm still rooting for him, but are like pointing to one good play or look at that good play. But every quarterback makes good passes. Watch a football game. The difference is they don't follow it up with a disgusting, ridiculous interception, or they don't throw the ball 5 yards over the head of an open receiver, which is what he's doing all game. Everybody wanted to talk about all the red zone opportunities Mike White had that he didn't capitalize on. Well, at least he got us into the red zone. At least he got us there. How many 1, 2, and 3 outs can we take? So every once in a while he can run out and make a magical looking play? You're not going to win a Super Bowl like that. We couldn't beat Detroit at home yesterday. Our defense held them to literally 10 points if you don't count the punt return and Zach's gift of 3 points when he threw the interception. Our defense only gave up 10 points. One horrendous touchdown where Will Parks went to sleep, and we'll address that in this draft, and a field goal. The other 10 points came from a punt return and from Zach Wilson giving them 3 points by throwing that interception. The 3 points that lost the game, by the way. Everyone says the defense lost the game. Well, you could say that. You could say the interception he threw into the hands of the Detroit defender lost us the game as well. Did he show improvement? Yes, he actually did. They actually did show improvement. He did on certain plays. He showed that when he actually follows the fundamentals of football, he actually is good. He threw some beautiful passes when his footwork was right. But is he coachable? If you can only get the quarterback to use the proper footwork 30% of the time, and 70% of the time he has happy feet and he's throwing off balance, is that a coachable player? He had 3 weeks, and 3 weeks of just focusing on fundamentals, the best he was able to do. We'll do a count. We'll do a count of how many passes out that he made, the percentage of passes that he made that he was stepping into the throw and had the appropriate fundamentals. We could do that. I'm going to have Dom C do it, or I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch the All-22, and I'm going to literally look at every pass and look at his feet. And we're going to look at the percentage of time that his feet were actually planted and he stepped through the throw. I mean, I don't know what to say. Nobody wants him to do well like I do. I had his jersey on. I was sweating nuts when he threw that first touchdown. I went when the first good pass of the game, the first big play that he made. I went nuts. I was screaming with joy. So for all the liars out there, for all the lunatics out there that say I'm a Zach hater because I'm speaking the truth, that's the difference. It's like if I sat here and say Zach sucks crap, he'll never be good, he was never good, and I was saying it since the day he was drafted, I'm a Zach hater because I'm not acknowledging his improvement. I'm not acknowledging some of the good talents that he has, and I'm rooting for him to do bad. That's a Zach hater. I'm not a Zach hater. I have his jersey. I wear his jersey. I root for him. I celebrate. Everything that he does, I put my hopes into. Maybe this is the start of something. At the end of the first half yesterday, I was thinking, what if this is it? What if this is the turnaround we've been waiting for? He still had like a 120 quarterback rating at the end of the half, something like that. He didn't have many pass attempts, but who cares? Who cares? I said to myself, wow, maybe he's building confidence. Maybe this will happen. You can watch Green Bean. Go to Green Bean Jet Fan and watch the replay of the game. Watch the watch party. You'll see me doing it, saying, oh, maybe this is something. Maybe we got a quarterback. Maybe he's finally starting to show who he is. And then the other shoe drops. And he starts missing receivers, 1, 2, 3, and out. The next drive, he forces a pass for an interception. And then we're just back to the same Zach. One step forward, 2 steps back every time. But anyway, we have to go into quarterback. I mean, I think that really you just have to watch the game. I mean, the reality is just watch the game and judge. But you got to take off the glasses of, and that's what I really did yesterday. I didn't come in with a bias or a position. I came in hopeful. Please let Zach be good. And everything I'm judging him by, and I will judge when I rewatch the game, will be not with I want to prove he's bad or to prove he's good. It's just unbiased. I'm going to watch each play and say, what was his fundamentals like on that play? What was his footwork like on that play? Was he under unfair pressure? Did they get to him within 2 seconds? Did he have like no time? Did he have some time? Then I'm going to look at the all-22. Is going to show us were people open? Was he missing people? We got to look at the reality. Right now, it doesn't look great. It looks like he got me. Look, he was a million times better than he was against New England. All right, let's say that. No one can argue that. He was a million times better than he was against New England because he was willing to throw the ball. I mean, you can't win the game if you're afraid to throw a pass. So, I mean, he took a big step from where he was and where he fell apart against New England. There's no argument against that. But we got to what we need to know is he good enough to be a winning quarterback? Is he good enough? I mean, is he good enough? That's what we have to figure out. We're fans of the team. It's not about being a Zach fan. It's about being a Jets fan. Is he good enough? We have to know if he's good enough. If he's not good enough, we're going to waste another year next year. Yes, I love Zach. Yes, I have his jersey. He has to be good enough. And I'm watching the tape. I'm giving him every fair shake. But I'm telling you, I didn't have to rewatch the tape when I watched Brock Purdy play for the 49ers. I didn't have to go back to tape to know he's doing his job and that he's better than Zach Wilson right now. Watch it. He throws the ball to his players. He doesn't throw it 5 feet away. And if you say, oh, he's just playing in a system and he's just being a game manager, yes, please give me that. Can I have a game manager? Because a game manager wins the game yesterday. It does. Again, all we needed was a game manager yesterday. We were playing the 30th ranked defense in the NFL at home. All we needed was a game manager. So yes, give me a game manager. I hate the excuse, oh, these other players are good. These other players are good. Well, why are you putting that in my comment section? Oh, come on, mock drafts. Oh, come on. Do you have any people watching your channel? Are you kidding me? He's going to sit here and attack my channel while I'm doing a show. Look, he's not good enough right now. And there's other quarterbacks in the league that aren't supposed to be better than him, that are being better than him, that are playing better than him. We have to be honest about that. Could he be a late bloomer? Could he be a guy who develops in his third year? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe he is. Maybe he is one of those guys that's a late bloomer. But are we going to go into next year like gambling everything on that? And it's like, fine. If we do, I'm going to root for them to be right. If we go into next year and we give Zach another year, I'm going to hope and I'm going to pray. I'm going to do everything in my power of hoping and being a fan that he's great. I am. I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, he's not good. He's not good. He's not good. And be a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm going to root for him to be really good. But can we afford to do that as an organization? Can we go into another year? Now we're going to be in year 3 of some of these young players that we got in the 21 draft. We're running. I mean, it's like you need to take advantage of your window. You need to take advantage of your window. I mean, this is like crazy. So it's not being a Zach hater to be worried about this. You can't sit there and watch and say you've seen enough to know that he's the guy. I've seen plays where he's amazing. He's had some plays where he's amazing. I mean, just like insanely good. Like he makes plays that only the top quarterbacks in the NFL could make. I've seen it. I don't have the time or the technology to pull them out. There was a pass to Cole last year where Cole was running out of bounds and he hit him. He put it in his chest as he was stepping out of bounds. It was a crossbody pass. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I don't know if we've ever had a quarterback make a pass like that. I mean, it was at the level of Ken O'Brien. Like, not even Pennington, because those guys were great game at, I mean, they were great at what they were great at, but they couldn't do that. The guy threw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball across the field into Cole's chest as he was stepping out of bounds. It was one of the most beautiful plays. It looked like a Aaron Rodgers pass. Like, it was unbelievable. So Zach Wilson has had moments where there's no ceiling, like where it's like, oh my God, he's so good. The problem is right after that play, out of the next 5 passes, he completes 2 of them. That's the problem. Now, can we get to a Zach Wilson that's able to make that amazing play a higher percent? I don't even need the amazing. That's the crazy thing. We don't even need the amazing. We don't even need the amazing. We just need a functional quarterback. Anyway, without further ado, let me see how I could do this. I didn't prepare well enough. Present, slides, extra camera video file, share screen. Okay. Here we go. Share. Okay. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but hopefully you're seeing what you're supposed to be seeing. I love it when people criticize me for doing a mock draft. It's like, then don't watch. You know what I mean? If you don't want to watch a mock draft, then don't watch it. Like, people are trying to make fun. It's like, why wouldn't we? What's wrong with, at this point of the year, we're starting to see the holes in this team. We're starting to see things that we need, right? So why can't we do a mock draft? Why can't we do a mock draft and see what's available and where we want to go? I'm not doing this because we have nothing interesting left in the season. I'm doing this because like I'm freaking depressed. We've lost 3 games in a row. I need something else to focus on. I need a break from talking about how freaking bad we are for losing 7 games in a row. I mean, I was going to maybe I'll save it for a video about our freaking guy, Robert Sala, who didn't even take accountability. Okay. Robert Sala, who took 0 accountability the other day, yesterday after the press conference, and then even this morning, he put up a big fight, like it was a 5-minute story to finally admit that he cost the Jets a play with his lack of calling a timeout. And let me tell you something, he didn't just cost us a play. He cost us up to 3 chances, because if we would have had 20 seconds left on the clock, which is what he took from us, that's 2 to 3 shots at the end zone, or because we had a timeout, to throw it deep downfield to the 5-yard line to get into field goal range or even get a touchdown. But we definitely, can you imagine if we would have had 20 seconds left just to take some shots to get into field goal range? Like, how could he downplay the impact that had on the game yesterday? He did not take the accountability he needed to take. I'm sorry. He just didn't. It was absolutely inexcusable. I don't like it. Anyway, let's do 7 rounds fast. I don't know the players yet, but we'll just go through it together. We'll start to learn the names. That's how I did it last year. So here we go. I'm going through. They have us picking at 17, and we already have a crazy trade offer. And you see, that's why I need Tom here. One of the things that to reason to consider trades is because we don't have a ton of picks like we did in the past. So we might want to start increasing that. The problem with this offer is, even though it's really stacked for next year, and Jacksonville is offering us a first rounder and a second rounder for next year, the problem is we lose picks for this year. And I don't think we're not at that. That's not the point we are as a team. So Seattle is saying trade down to 35 and we'll give you 80 and our first round pick next year. Wow. Is that realistic? Is that realistic? I mean, look, as a GM in real life, I'm probably going to do this. I mean, how do I not do this? I get the 35th pick. I'm Joe Douglas. I don't have to pay any first rounders this year. We could use that break. We get a 35th pick. We get an 80th pick. So we get 2 picks for the price of 1. And then we get a first-round pick next year in 24, the following year. I'm not going to do it for now, guys. It's fine, but man. Okay, so as I look on the board and look at who's available, okay, I see Brian Breesy, who's a defensive tackle from Clemson. I'm not going to say that that's not tempting. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that we could just shove right in there. But look, he's not that. Oh, wrong guy. I mean, look at this. You're talking about a 6'5", 300-pounder. You know, I mean, I don't know a lot about him. I know that Clemson has a pretty good defensive line, though. I mean, look. Imagine putting him next to Q. I mean, already you could see why I'm doing the draft, right? Because maybe we could put this nightmare behind us from yesterday and just think of things that are positive and look and see the potential of what we could do moving forward. I mean, look at this. We got stuff going on. We got stuff. We got real players that we might be able to bring into our team. Now I hear people yelling for OL. Now obviously we don't need a running back, so that's good. But here's something that we have to consider. Okay? Brian Branch. Because guys, we need a safety for the love of God. We lost the game yesterday because of Will Parks. I know CJ Mosley may have blown the coverage or whatever it was. Watch Will Parks on that play yesterday. I can't wait to watch it on the All-22 with Dom and break it down. I don't know what the guy was doing. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been a first down. It would have been a big game, but we would have held them to the 20. Like we could have gotten them around the 20-yard line, and they still had to score a touchdown. They still had to get into the end zone against us. But Will Parks decided, I mean, jeez, what the hell was he doing? Watch the play and watch Will Parks on that play. You want to throw up? You want to talk about a guy who's not an NFL football player that was stuck on the field? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm so mad about yesterday because there was so much disgustingness in yesterday. Why is this message held for review? Why'd you retract it? There was nothing wrong with what you said, Albert. You were fine. Okay, they're not going to give us much information. Alabama safety. All you need to say, right? I mean, you know, look, neither of these are bad picks. Like, you could sit there and take Brian Barisi. It makes us a better football team. You could sit here and take this safety, Brian Branch. It makes us a better football team. So let's look at the top-rated tackle that's still on the board. His name is Peter Skoronski from Northwestern. Peter Skoronski. 6'4", 294 pounds, so he's not a fatty. But is he big enough to play in the NFL? While his straight line speed and explosions are impressive, Skoronski couples this with impressive agility and quick footwork. Now, what I like about that is if you go to Talking with Tigo, he'll tell you the importance of good footwork. That's Max Mitchell kind of stuff. This is evident in multiple facets of the game. The Northwestern O team moves incredibly well, laterally with the ability to travel the width of the field, moving sideways as well as doing north and south. This also allows him to get into his new pass sets with ease. Additionally, his footwork allows him to mirror rushers and pass protection. Last season, he was tasked with some difficult assignments, including David Ajabo, the Michigan man, and easily one of the most athletic pass rushers in the previous NFL class. But the Northwestern O team matched his footwork and redirect the high level of comfort. Okay. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? You're saying I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to do the draft. And you guys aren't like participating. You're like talking about other crap. Like I'm done talking about Zach, dude. Okay, let me and also, by the way, I can't see the chat on my computer. I can't highlight it while I'm doing the mock draft. So I'm looking at it on YouTube on my screen. So I can only talk about what you guys are saying. First of all, you're accusing me of ignoring you, which I'm not. I see you guys. I see you, Jacob Finnegan. I see you. I raise you 10. Draft Jack Campbell in the second round. He's a good friend from high school. Okay. Well, you heard it, everybody. We got to draft Jacob's friend from high school. Okay. So I hear we need offensive linemen. I agree. But do we need a tackle as much as we need a guard is the question. Because not that we're going to bench the crappy Laken Tomlinson, but we're definitely not re-signing him. He's gone after next year, right? I mean, we're going to take the $4 million cap hit, dead cap, and we're going to get Laken Tomlinson so far out of town that we forget his name and forget like he's just a bad dream that we remember. Some people are saying draft a quarterback, but I don't know. There's no one that makes. Is there a quarterback left in the? Like in other words, we'd have to trade down to take a quarterback at this point. They didn't leave us anybody. They didn't leave us any quarterback that was exciting. I mean, Hooker, Hendon Hooker. That's who's left on the board. I don't know if you could take him. Maybe if he's there in the second round, if JD has Hooker like rated really high and loves him, maybe in the second round, JD says, okay, we'll grab him if he's there. But this is a tough decision because we need a lot of things. This team is hurting. We need a lot of things. The trades, there's no trade offers to trade down a little bit. That's the problem. I mean, there is Broderick Jones out of Georgia. He's another tackle. So there's a couple of tackles. If we could trade down like 4 or 5 spots, I would. But we're not being offered that. And the nearest guard is Osiris Torrance, but we're not going to take a guard with this pick. So, I mean, we could either trade down or we just have to decide. Now, JD is not a position guy, but I think that Brian Barisi and Brian Branch and Peter Skoronsky all have got to be in the conversation. We've got an offensive tackle. I mean, we got a defensive tackle. We've got an offensive tackle possibility and a safety possibility. So I'm going to ask you guys, who do you think we should go for? Asking to draft a quarterback shows me y'all haven't been Jets fans for long. What the hell are you talking about, youth? Like, drafting a quarterback would be a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Like, we don't know. I mean, I agree, though, that we still need to build more. But, I mean, we need a quarterback. I mean, the fact that, Snowball says it right. If you're a longtime Jets fan, then we've never had a quarterback. We've never really had a quarterback. I mean, Chad Pennington, but then he got hurt. Vinny Testaverde got hurt. Ken O'Brien got hurt. Brett Favre was a 1-year rental, doesn't count. But Sanchez, blah. Geno Smith, blah. At least for the Jets. Sam Darnold, blah. Zach Wilson, what is he, a 5% chance he works out at this point? I mean, he's sliding fast. I mean, we need a quarterback. The problem is I don't know if we're ready to accept that. Like, I don't know if JD is thinking it's time for a new quarterback or not. I just don't know. Yeah, I know it's a never-ending cycle, but that doesn't mean you give up. So should we just accept the fact that we never have a quarterback? I mean, you could go the opposite way, youth. We could just pick quarterbacks in every draft until we finally get one. Because it feels like nothing else makes sense until we get a quarterback. Because it feels like we're just kicking tires endlessly and forever. Because we don't have a quarterback. We never get one. I can't stand it anymore. Can you? Like, we literally never get a quarterback. It's like this nightmare that won't end for us as Jet fans. I don't know what to say about it. We just can't get a quarterback. We've tried so many times. We've used draft capital. We've done everything we can. We've picked guys that every other team would have picked. And we cannot get a quarterback to work out on this team. So that's why you could say, okay, let's never pick one again, and just live with the fact and say, okay, we're never going to have a quarterback. Or we could try taking more, or you're right, we could invest in the offensive line and try to make it that any average quarterback will be successful because they'll have a great offensive line. And you know what? It's only 3 games. I can't say it for sure. But if Mike White plays the way he played those 3 games, you give him an incredible offensive line, he's going to be a very good, effective quarter, a very effective quarterback we can win with because he's very decisive. He sees the field and he's accurate. So if we give Mike White lots of time in the pocket, he's going to own it. But some would argue that Zach would also. That if you gave Zach a ton of time, you'd see the guy we saw in BYU lighten it up. So, you know, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, but constantly the problem with taking quarterbacks too is it's such a gamble, and if it doesn't work, you're screwed. Just for the other thing is here's my problem with taking an offensive tackle. You take an offensive tackle, and then let's say Becton comes back great, and let's say Max Mitchell comes back great, and we have Dwayne Brown on contract. I know that's saying a lot, but we already might have 3 tackles, right? And then you're going to pick a guy in the first rounds. If you pick this dude, if you take this guy Peter Skoronski with the 17th pick of the draft, the assumption is he's going to play. Well, who you benching? Who are we benching? What if Becton comes back in shape, fit, and healthy? I'm sorry, but he's still a great offensive lineman when he's healthy and in shape. So what if he comes back in shape and healthy? You can't keep Becton out of the game. He's too good. I mean, do you just stick this Peter Skoronski in and tell Max Mitchell you are a swing tackle, maybe the best in the league, a guy we can trust to be a good player if you play, and then eventually maybe you will play. Because I mean, I don't know why people are just forgetting that Becton exists. Why? Because the media and everybody wanted to create this imaginary narrative that he wasn't in shape. Then he came into camp and his weight was fine. And then it's his fault that he gets hurt. It's not his fault that he gets hurt. The players can't control injuries. Could he, instead of been 365, could he come in at 350, 345, and possibly have a better chance of staying healthy? Yes. If I'm the Jets, is that what I'm telling him? Yes. If I'm his personal trainer, is that what I'm telling him? Yes. But the reality is we can't sit here and pretend that there's no possibility that there's a good solid chance Becton is going to come back healthy, and you're not going to be able to keep him on the bench. He's too good. There's a very good chance people are giving up on him. It's going to be his 3rd year. Oh no, 4th, because he missed the last 2. But it'll be his 2nd year playing. He's still only like 24 years old. Still super young. So I don't know if I could take a guard here. But you know what we don't have? I'm going to take a safety. I'm going to take Brian Branch. We need a safety. We need a light him up safety. Oh, no, but you know what the argument there is against me? I'm talking myself out of shit. The problem with that is our offense sucks. So what do we do? I think our offense sucks because of injuries, though. I think if Becton comes back, which he will, AVT's coming back, Breece Hall is coming back, I think we got the young receiver core. We got tons of running backs. We got Jeremy Ruckert in development in the oven cooking. If we need another tight end, we can always sign one, or we can get one in a little bit of later rounds. We don't have to go first round on a tight end if we want to pick another tight end and bring more youth in. So for that reason, I'm taking Brian Branch because Will Parks lost us the game yesterday. So here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm taking Brian Branch. Taking a good, solid safety, a safety that ends the problem for us. You know what I mean? It ends the problem. Baltimore comes in and says, no, I'm not trading down for the future. We need to win now. Here we are with the 47th pick, and people are offering us future stuff. So we're going to reject it, and we are going to live with this pick. Let's see who's up there. Oh, J.L. Skinner made it down there. We could have had J.L. Skinner and not wasted our pick. I'm the worst. I am awful. I am the worst drafter. We could have had J.L. Skinner from Boise State, but we don't. Now, here we go, guys. I want you to look at what's going on. Yeah, well, Whitehead is a box safety who needs to sit out. They need to pull him out of the game on third downs because he's awful in pass coverage. So we definitely need a pass covering safety. Because Whitehead, if we could just train him to stop trying to be a show off and wrap his arms around the guy, he's actually an okay box safety. We need a pass covering safety. So that's why I made that pick before. We're looking at another safety on the top of the board. We're looking at Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse. He's a tackle. 6'5", 322. Ooh, I love those. That's good. That's the right size. Big 6'5", 322. It's not like it's 350, 360. It's not crazy or out of the realm of reality. He's strong. Huh. It'd be nice to add on a tackle, but I just don't know if they can play, if we have the room for them to play right away. And I think right now in the second round, we still need to make the team better, right? We still need guys that are going to make us better. Now, there's an offensive center from Minnesota named John Michael Schmitz. John Michael Schmitz. Again, does the center make us better, or can we just extend McGovern? Now, the good news is we'll know by then. Right? Like if we'll know if McGovern wants crazy money, if he goes to a different team, free agency will already have happened. So the good news about that is we'll know if we have McGovern, if he's willing to sign with us at a reasonable price, or if he gets more money elsewhere. If he doesn't get more money elsewhere, we're going to have to draft a center. And this is probably our guy, John Michael Schmitz. Yeah, John Michael Heimer Schmitz. There was some song that sounded like that. Anyway, we're going to assume that we extend McGovern and that he doesn't cost us too much because we're trying to get better here. There's a lot of centers this part of the draft. Cedric Van Pran from Georgia. A lot of tackles. What are we looking for? We got a safety. It'd be nice to get a linebacker, but there just doesn't seem to be any linebackers available that are appropriate for this part of the draft. So we have to think, is McGovern going to start fresh and cheap? No, he's not going to be cheap. He's not going to be cheap. He's saying, who took the center from Notre Dame? I could look back and see, I guess. Who took him? I don't know if anybody took him. Maybe the center from Notre Dame is a little overrated. I don't see him on here. Do you? I'm looking now on the big screen. No, I don't see him. Let's look. Let's go to offense. Let's go to offensive center. No, he must have been picked because I don't see him on here. Somebody took him. Did anybody see him as I was scrolling up? I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? We took our safety. That's good news. I don't see a linebacker that's here right now. I'm going to just say, let's grab another tackle because I don't see a guard here that's placed right. I see some centers, but I don't see. I think it's too soon to take a center. I do. I just think that I think McGovern's coming back. Okay, I know AbLab. I hear you. I said, well, AbLab Studios. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. AbLab Studios kind of is the real sponsor of the channel. He's kind of like my boss, so I'm gonna. He is. I mean, my wife would have taken me off the air a long time ago if it wasn't for AbLab. Honestly. So, all right, we're going to take Cedric Van Pran, the offensive center from Georgia. Comes from a big school. We don't have to worry about center anymore for a really long time. He's going to be our guy. Becton's going to come back. AVT's going to come back. We're going to be really good. Max Mitchell, I guess, could play right tackle. Dallas, go kick tires. I don't want future. I don't want future. John Michael Schmitz. I know, right? Isn't it funny? New England wants us to trade back 5 spots and is offering us their 5th round pick. Fuck you. Dallas, fuck you. I don't like either team. All right, so here we are. It's time to get pick again. Oh, well, we got a super chat. V-Man says, look at the bright side. After this Sunday, the Pats fans can never bring up the butt fumble ever again. While it sucks how the year is ending, we are still on the up. Yes, that's why I'm doing this draft. We're on the up. This is not a giving up, waving the flag. This is a accepting that we're not where we need to be yet to be serious Super Bowl contenders. Like, we are improved, that we might be gifted a playoff spot. That might happen, and it would be a gift at the rate we're going. Because I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative, but I just don't see that we're going to win the last 3 games. If we win 2 out of 3 and we go 9-8 and make the playoffs, that's a gift. That's not us being a playoff team. So if that was to happen, I'm sorry. But we got to look ahead. Look, Zach Charbonnet is a running back that's back on the board from last year. He wasn't. I guess he decided not to come out. So there's some running backs on top. We are not taking a running back in the 3rd round. That we know. I don't think we're taking a wide receiver either. We've taken a center and we've taken a safety, and I see a offensive tackle from Ohio State just sitting there begging us to take him. Let's learn more about DeWand Jones. Let's see if there's any information on him. I'm going to click this thing. 6'8", 360 pounds. Wow. As tempting as that is, I know what some of you fans are going to say. Not another Becton. Please don't do it. Jones' overwhelming size has some drawbacks, but he's not a liability from a mobility standpoint. He has good foot speed, his size, and can quickly transfer weight. Man, we're going to be so much better off when we have Domsey here because he's going to know about all these players. By the way, thanks a lot, V-Man, for the super chat. I appreciate that. I'm looking at the other positions. The closest linebacker is Ivan Pace Jr. from Cincinnati. We've had good luck drafting from Cincinnati. Sauce Gardner came from Cincinnati. I don't see any guards. Are there guards in this draft at all? I don't know if there's an offensive guard in the entire draft. I haven't seen one yet. Every time we pick, there's no offensive guard that makes sense. But you know what? There are tackles we could take that we move to guard. Oh my God. Holy shit. Ablab, you are a maniac, brother. I love you. Yeah, let me address this. Ablab Studios comes in with a $50 super chat. That's right, a $50 super chat. He says, now get to work. We need to double dip on OL this draft. We need a safety and a linebacker and a run-stopping defensive tackle. Zach Wilson will be fine next year. It will click for him year 3 with a healthy offensive line and Brees back. Now get to work. We need to double up on OL this draft. We need a safety and linebacker. Okay, it sounds like you're saying we need a safety. I agree, and a run-stopping DT. I wasn't able to address all that. I did get us a safety. And I got us an offensive line. Who did I take at the second? I got to remember who we got. Okay, I got us a center and a safety. We haven't taken a tackle yet. So you know what? As I know nothing yet, we're just going to take this kid from Ohio State, and we're going to take a tackle. All right? So now we're bulking up the offensive line. We got a center. We got a tackle who's like 360 pounds. Okay, we're bulking up that offensive line like crazy right now. Okay, I see the guy from Arkansas, Ricky Stromberg. He was a center from last year, by the way, who didn't get drafted, and he's still ranked 104. Obviously, we're not taking him. We've taken a safety, so we're not taking Damani Richardson. I see some edge. I see more offensive tackle. Again, I do not see a guard. It is so irritating that I do not see a guard. Where are the guards in this draft? Here it is. Andrew Vahoris from USC. Give me a break, man. I want to go back to that super chat from Ablab Studios. Ablab, thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means that you support the channel to this level. It really means a lot. It really does. It's like, it helps, man. It helps. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for doing that. In all seriousness, you really are incredible in this community. Like, you're keeping these channels going, man. You really are. You don't know how hard it is sometimes to do this stuff, and then how much it makes it worth it when you get some, when you at least get to like have money to invest in the channel. Like, because there's so many things I want to do, and I am so close to getting like some more. Like the last time AbLab Studios gave me this huge donation, and I'm looking at a giant screen TV now that I could do watch parties for my studio. I'm doing this is because of AbLab. I'm not joking. I would not have done it. Like, we were ordering it, me and my wife, and we were debating and debating. And then he gave me this crazy donation. And I said, you know what, honey? I just got all this money from somebody, from one of the viewers. I feel obligated to put it into the channel. And because that's what I say I'm going to do with the money. And she was like, well, if do it. So, that's why I'm able to do the watch party from a studio rather than sitting on a couch. Guys like AbLab. And for those of you who can't, don't worry, I'm not trying to give you a guilt trip. I understand why not everybody could just give money to a YouTube content provider. I get it. I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel. That's great. I'm just appreciating somebody who is able to help, and more than just by watching and liking the channel, the stream. So I have to shout it out and be really appreciative of them. So we haven't taken a defensive tackle. I think that we're going to love this kid from LSU, Jacqueline Roy. Jacqueline Roy, I know nothing about. I just like the name. What does he weigh? 6'4", 297. Is that big enough? We need someone who could stop the run. That's what happens when you do these early drafts and you don't know the players yet. I'm just guessing. I'm living on a prayer right now. Living on a prayer. There's so many centers this year. Last year, there were none. Last year, there was like 3 centers in the top 5 rounds. And all I see are centers. They're everywhere. There's so many centers. Oh, this guy from I saw this guy from last year's draft, Savorsy Dennis. So that's interesting that he's back, and he must have come out and he left the draft last year, and now he's eligible again. Let's see. So we've picked 2 offensive linemen. So I can't. I mean, we took a center, we took a tackle. I mean, are we gonna just keep taking linemen? This never happens. I mean, has that ever happened where a GM just takes nothing but offensive linemen the whole draft? I don't know. There's no one though. I mean, there's Mohamed Diabate from Utah, linebacker, 6'4", 220. That's not bad. That's good size. That's coverage size. That's the kind of linebackers we like. We really need a linebacker, guys, don't we? What do you think we need more, a tackle or a linebacker? I'm going to let you guys decide. Tackle or a linebacker? Because there is this kid, Mozzie Smith, sitting right on top from Michigan. 337 pounds, 6'3". Oh, my God. He's probably thick. Massive. Can shrug off chip blocks, absorb double teams. I know it's weird to keep going defense. Why are you scared of players from Utah? That doesn't make any sense. He took it back. I don't know why. London Jets fan says linebacker. Wildwood says linebacker. Okay. Douglas likes his bargain basement finds for him. About time we get a proper mock. Proper mock. I love you, Knob. Everyone's saying linebacker. So, okay. We're at pick 117. Like, if we don't get a linebacker now, you guys are right. We're not going to get one. I'm looking up and I'm seeing. I'm gonna go up there and say the highest ranked one left is Mohamed Diabate or Diabate or Diabate. I want to say that I'm a huge Mohamed Salah fan from Liverpool, and I've had good luck with Mohamed in sports because of that. I got his jersey. He's done great things for Liverpool. I like the name, so I'm gonna draft Mohamed Diabate and say you are our linebacker of the future from Utah. And now we go down. I don't know when we pick again. We're in the 5th round now. I guess it's assuming we lost the other fourth rounder because of the James Robinson thing. And here we are at pick 148. Let me review what we've picked and who we've taken so far. We have taken a safety, Brian Branch, a center, Cedric Van Pran, a tackle, DeJuan Jones. These are solid things, foundation things, A linebacker, Mohamed Diabete. Hopefully he can play the outside because, hopefully. And it looks like this is our final pick, guys. So I think we need a guard. Question: how do I get my name highlighted in green? You do that by becoming a member. If you go to the homepage of the channel, there's a little button called join. If you join the channel, which means you become a snacker, there's like 4 different levels. One is only like $3 a month. So if you're willing to pay $3 a month, the price of a cup of coffee, less than a cup of coffee, you become a member and you have your name in green and you get to have all these different kind of emoticons that you could type in. And I always am and except with the exception of Twisted, I'll call out all your chats. Like I focus more on my members' chats. When it's a super chat, that's the priority, or when it's a member. When it's a member, I always make sure that I try to get to your chat. Sometimes they fail at that, and I think someone got pissed and they left the channel, and they're so mad they don't even watch me anymore. But that wasn't on purpose. I try really hard, and I even send out videos to members only. So, for example, last week I sent out a video of if Zach Wilson was not elevated to QB2 last week before we knew he was starting, when Sala announced that that Flacco would be inactive and Zach Wilson would be active, I had 2 videos already made. One that said, "Yay, Zach is active. He's our QB2." And as soon as Sala said it, I released that video. It came out the moment he said it at his press conference. I put that video out. But what happened to the other video? Don't you guys wanted to see how I would react if they didn't elevate Zach Wilson? Well, my members got to see that. I sent them that video that was already made. And it also gives away a little trick to you guys. And the trick is that it tells you that's how sometimes I can be really fast on reacting to things. I make the videos ahead of time and I react as if, as naturally and real as I can, but I pretend it's real. Zach is activated to QB2. Here's my reaction. Zach Wilson is not elevated to QB2. Here's my reaction. And then I have both videos ready. So Trin the Great is saying, okay, we get it. He's basically tying a rope around his mouth and hanging himself. I did not draft a quarterback, Trin. We made the decision not to. We made the decision to focus on the offensive line and hope that either Zach Wilson developing, Mike White, or a new guy that we bring in will flourish if we just have a decent offensive line. That was our decision. So Jets 830 says, Ablab. I have to say this because this is Jets 8030. I mean, these are the kind of things. Guys like you, I mean, Twisted, I mean, really, me and Twisted joke around. But like Trin the Great, like you guys, Rich, Wild Wave, you guys, I cannot tell you how hard after a loss yesterday it is to go on with this channel, like right away, to bounce back and keep keep pushing. You don't know how bad I just wanted to shut down for 3 or 4 days at least. You know what I mean? It's like you guys keep me going. So thank you for that. It's like an addiction to make a connection, to have people like what you do. You have no idea what that feels like and how great that is. So I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate this comment. Ablab, I believe in Jets Chaos. He's the most underrated YouTuber. He ranks up there with Paul Boy, Green Bean, Jets Media, Jets Talk Radio, Matt O'Leary, and so on. Thank you. I mean, you just named some of my favorite people. I mean, Paul Boy's a legend. Green Bean is like my mentor, right? He's like made me fall in love with this and why I do it. Jets Media, Richie is like a superstar. And Matt O'Leary is a good friend of mine, and Matt O'Leary was the first one I ever saw on YouTube. He's the one that made me even realize there was a Jets fan community on YouTube. And Matt O'Leary is obviously fantastic and awesome. Not just as a YouTube content provider, but Matt O'Leary is one of the greatest people you ever meet as a person. He's just an incredible human being. So I really really appreciate being put up in that company. I can't tell you. It means a lot. So thank you. And I'm the closest to Trin the Great. We think. I guess you're saying we think alike. Thank you, Wild Wave. I appreciate that. That's why I love doing this, because it's passion. That's why I want this to be my like. I want to be able to retire or quit and do this professionally. And it's like, it's not because it's like easier than working. It's work. I mean, I'm put this. Ask my wife. This is like a second job. It's work, and I'm not complaining because I love it. And that's why I want to do it. I don't want to be a professional YouTuber because I don't want to work. I want to be a professional YouTuber because it's the only work I do that doesn't feel like work. Like, I am passionate about this, man. That's why people say, why'd you do the 49ers channel? Because I love football. I don't love doing the 49ers videos as much as the Jet videos. But if I can get that channel going, I want to be able to just retire it, like from like the other world, and I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to sit here and just do YouTube all day, but I can't do it just doing the Jets, because there's not enough Jet fans on YouTube. Because even the highest, like the king of Jets, Jets Media, Jets Central, only have 30,000 subscribers. It's not enough to make a living. It's not. So I have to do other things. But this will always be number one on my list. The Jets content will always matter the most because it's what I'm the most passionate about. Proud New York Jets fan is here, and he's saying, I ask again, White didn't do the same? I don't know what the question is, what you're referring to. Come on, Knob. Oh, special teams lost that game, but White didn't ruin the season laying an egg in the first half versus Minnesota and Buff. I don't know why you keep attacking Mike White. Mike White didn't do anything wrong. I think that I'm not saying I agree. Me and Nick are the same on this. I am not happy and not thinking that Mike White is the answer. But Mike White is better than Zach Wilson right now. Zach Wilson might be a million times better in a year from now. We see it all the time. We see the story shift. We see the story shift. You know what I mean? Like, Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback in Carolina, and they cut Baker Mayfield. Now, there was a time where nobody in their right mind would say that Sam Darnold is better than Baker Mayfield. And then Baker Mayfield went and won a game for the Rams, and people started saying, you see, they're stupid. Baker's better. I mean, this is 4 years later, and there's still debate on who's better. You know what I mean? There's still debate. So we don't know. Mike White might be the better quarterback right now. I think he definitely is, based on the 3 games he played compared to any 3 games that Zach Wilson has played. But that doesn't mean that Mike White is great. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It means that we've set a really low bar. Now, at the same time, to be fair to Mike White, he didn't do anything wrong, and he's only in his first 5 games. So we don't know that he can't be a good NFL quarterback. We suspect it. There's a reason he's 27 and he's only getting his chance now. There's reasons for it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think me and Nick agree on I think could agree very easily that we're not in a good situation right now as an organization. Like, hanging our hopes on Mike White isn't much better than hanging our hopes on Zach Wilson. With Zach Wilson, we're hoping he improves and develops. With Mike White, we're kind of like we're judging him on a low bar. We're saying he's good, but he's good compared to what? He's good compared to a Zach Wilson who's failing. So, and I don't mean to be harsh on Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson, we've seen, has crazy, crazy ability, but he needs to be consistent. And we don't know if he's ever going to be able to be consistent. So it's kind of weird, because we have a fan base fighting over 2 guys who probably are not the answer. But I don't think you should say that Knob Kraft is drinking. I think it's realistic to sit there and say that he believes in Mike White. And I wouldn't compare I wouldn't compare anything Mike White has done to Zach Wilson. Like he's made some mistakes, but it's a different kind of mistakes. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of mistakes. I mean, if Zach could put touch on short passes right away, that makes him a lot better. If he could fix that, if he's able to throw at different speeds. It's like a pitcher could only throw 100 miles per hour. But there's no place for quarterback to be just a closer in the ninth inning. You need to play the whole game. So we need a guy who can do more than throw 100 mile per hour fastball. You got to have a slider, right? Didn't Mariano always have like a slider, Nick? So that's the problem. But we got to stop fighting over, the quarterback situation, because it's just quite simply, it's just we're not going to get anywhere. The reality is we need a real quarterback. We haven't had a real quarterback in this organization forever. I mean, we really haven't. And it's like, and if it's Zach and he ends up like developing into a superstar, no one will be happier than me. Mariano had a cutter. Ah, thank you. But you get my point, right? You have to have that other pitch. I think it's a good analogy. I mean, it's a different sport, but it's a good analogy. You got to have the other pitch. You can't just do one thing. And some people could say the same thing about Mike White and his limitation. Yeah, he's really good at being decisive and throwing short passes. And even though at the next, he's going second level with some of those passes, but he's not mobile. He's not mobile, and he's got a ceiling, a clear ceiling. It doesn't feel like he can get much better. So he doesn't have another pitch. He has that one pitch. I could make a quick decision and throw the ball. But what else can you do? I don't know. Knopcraft, you're in Raleigh Airport. I love RDA, man. What airline? I love what they've done to their terminals. Raleigh Airport is where you go to eat and drink and have a good time. Raleigh Airport delivers top-notch Bloody Mary. They do. There's a bar. I wonder if you're at the bar that me and my wife like to go to. I forgot the name of it. It's like when you're walking along and there's tables by a gate, like a steel gate that goes along. Oh my God, they do have good Bloody Marys. Or you might be at the Oyster Bar if you're in the other terminal, and they have good Bloody Marys. Huh. Okay, I'm wasting too much time. Oh, you're at the 42nd Street Oyster Bar. I love it. You see that? I called it, Knob. I called it. Dude, you are in I consider Raleigh-Durham a hometown of mine because my parents are there. It feels like home to me. But that's so funny that I knew where you were. That's great. We've gotten Bloody Marys there. Like I've been sitting where you're sitting right now. Do you feel the warmth that my ass left behind? Okay, we got the 148th pick to make. Okay, I showed you what we've done. We have picked a safety, 2 offensive linemen, a center, and a tackle. We've taken a linebacker. Do we go guard? I mean, it's an interesting question. There is a guard at 150, so he's kind of where we're sitting with the 148th pick. He's the 50th ranked guy. I wish we had Dom C here, but like there is this guy, Clark Barrington from BYU. You know what? You want to help Zach out. Maybe we need to get him a familiar face. Maybe we need to get him someone that, they say he lost the locker room. Will this help get the locker room back if he has a 302-pound bodyguard defending him? Clark Barrington from BYU. Oh, my God. I don't know if I could pick him. I think that I'll get killed. I think that people will will flee from my channel if I pick a guy from BYU. You guys aren't helping at all in the chat. No help at all in the chat. Absolutely ridiculous. Are we going to go for a defensive tackle yet? I don't think we've taken one, right? Have we taken a tackle? We haven't taken a defensive tackle. You know what? Who's the highest ranked defensive tackle? This is going to kill Nick. Nick is going to lose his mind if I don't take one. Here we go. From Auburn, Colby Wooden. Size and athleticism. 284, 6'5". Can be dangerous on stunts. Combination of strength and mobility. Presents a mismatch for displaced blockers. Lateral agility. Impressive amounts of ground. Stunting laterally with space. On the outside, Wooden has the agility to spin out of anchors and rip around the corner. What the hell? Let's go. Let's take him. Let's take Colby Wooden from Auburn. No, the it's not the Oyster Bar on Police Academy. The bar that they go to that they're making for them. Da-na-na-na-na. Wasn't that the Blue Oyster? I think that was the Blue Oyster. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Like I remember that movie. Okay, so let's see how we did in our draft. We took. Let me know how you feel, Nick. Okay, I'm doing the recap, my friend. Look, Nick, I admittedly do not know what I'm doing, dude. Okay, I paid like this much attention to college football, but Dom C, everything will change when Dom C is with me because Dom C is has a whole catalog of players. Also, Rusty Spooner. I don't know if he's here. He might be here. I can't see him anymore. If he is here, Rusty Spooner is a really good go to guy for me to help me out with this kind of stuff. But we've got. I mean, he's got to let me help him. He's blocking me in his YouTube by mistake, and he doesn't know it. And I'm telling him, dude, you got to go into your community tab. You got to go into YouTube Studio, hit the community tab, and look for the people that you're blocking and freaking unblock them. So anyway, we got Brian Branch, safety. So I went for a safety first, buddy. Okay. He's here. Okay. Ask him how I'm doing. He's probably going berserk because you know what, Rusty? I'm gonna have a different account. I'm gonna watch the YouTube chat from a different account that I have that I could see you for now on. Just for you, Rusty, because I cannot do this. Without Rusty, man. This is Rusty's. Dom C and Rusty are my guys. You know what I mean when it comes to this. Punter, we're not going to draft a punter, but London Jets fan, believe me, we need a punter. I'm going to make a video. You inspired me. You reminded me. I'm going to make I'm going to make a video. My God, do we need a punter? Brian Branch, safety from Alabama. And you know why I did that, Nick? Because Will Parks lost us that game yesterday. Nobody watch the tape. Will Parks lost us the game. So my emotion is saying we need a safety because Will Parks lost us the game. I'll say it 10 more times. Will Parks lost us the game. Cedric Van Pran, offensive center. I mean, it makes sense. We need a center. We're not going to pay. Are we going to pay McGovern millions? And if McGovern stays, then we don't need a center. But we're assuming that we need a center, or at least I'm following orders from my sponsor, AbLab Studios. By the way, if you guys need studios, go to AbLab Studios. There's no studios better than AbLab Studios. Wherever you need studio needs, nobody meets your studio needs more than AbLab Studios. I'm probably going to get shut down for doing that, even though we don't know what AbLab Studios is, and I'm not being paid for that. I just realized that the YouTube Nazis will probably come looking for me, and they're going to sense that I'm saying things like this, and they're going to not understand because I don't know if it's like computer voice generated like systems that check this, but they're going to sit there and think I have a sponsor for real and shut this freaking show down. Darwan Jones, offensive tackle, Ohio State. Darwan Jones, offensive tackle, Ohio State. That was what we did with our third round pick because you can never have too many tackles. And then the fourth round, Mohamed Diabate. He is a linebacker from Utah. And then with the final pick, Colby Wooden, a defensive tackle. So I think position-wise, I'm good, right? I mean, how about bringing in a safety and a center? A center is just necessity if McGovern doesn't stay. But a safety, another center, a tackle, just bulk up more on the offensive line. A linebacker, I think we need one, man. I mean, if he's good. I don't know if it's worth taking one this late. And then a defensive tackle, which we absolutely need. Rusty says, look at safety from Florida, Trey Dean. We will. We will look at the safety from Florida, Trey Dean, next time. I will mark that down. Maybe we'll look at some tape sometime. Joe Grant is saying great draft. And it's so funny because I don't know who any of these players are, but I'm going to base it by position and agree with you. I think the position-wise, I did okay. I think bringing in a safety, 2 offensive linemen, a linebacker, and a defensive tackle is good. We don't need specials. We don't need running backs. We don't need wide receivers. I think that Jeremy Ruckert is developing, and we still have, we're okay at tight end. I don't think we need cornerbacks. So I think safety, linebacker, offensive line, and defensive line. Tackle, 2 tackles, both sides of the I think it's a smart thing. I think it's realistic. I'm trying, I think it's realistic. So anyway, how do I get back to like us? Oh, okay, here we go. Me. It's back to me again. Yay. I'm here. Okay, let me what's this? Okay. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm back and I'm feeling it. 197 chats have went by. Wow. We don't need a long snapper. We got Hennessy. Thank you, London Jets fan. I love that London Jet fan. London, are you part of the UK guy group? What is it? Gang UK gang group. What do they call them? UK. How am I forgetting this? UK gang UK or with my friend Ant. Are you in that group? If we double up on OT, I wouldn't be unhappy. Well, it's I don't know if I'd be unhappy either, to be honest. I don't know if I'd be unhappy either. I mean, let's get real, right? Let's be real about this. We keep getting killed because of our offensive line. I mean, at the end of the day, we could sit there. Oh, no work today, man. I'm off. Vacation. Vacation. Jets are ruining my vacation. I have nothing but stress. My wife said, you have 2 weeks off, and the last 24 hours has been nothing but stress and you being upset. She's like, either go back to therapy, take more anxiety drugs, like increase your medication, or stop watching the Jets. I said, how about we go for another option and the Jets win a Super Bowl? Then we're all happy. What if the Jets draft me? There's always room for a Finnegan. Wow, you're in Portugal? My parents went to Portugal and they brought back these chocolates with this port in it. I tell you, man, I ate one a day. Me and my wife each had one each day and tried to make it last as long as we could. I mean, this was something like this is the kind of thing life is about, okay? These chocolates that had this port in them. And it was that famous port in Portland, like that famous picture of the fisherman or whatever. I am telling you, it's what life is about. Finding treasures like that. It's a treasure. And it's like, if I'm in Portland, man, Portugal, I keep saying Portland. If I was in Portugal, I would buy so many boxes of that chocolate and just start shipping it back. But you get to be there. And guess what? When you're in London, that part of your time is pretty awesome too, because the Cadbury is really good there. But I just realized something. If you're in Portugal and London, are you that guy from that movie Love Actually? Like, do you go there for the holidays to see that family? Because you found the girl there? Just in cases. That guy when he ran to Portugal to and they you know what I'm talking about? The movie Love Actually. There's a guy from England who meets a girl from Portugal when he's writing his book in some other country. And she goes back to Portugal and he goes back to England and then realizes he loves her. And he flies into Portugal and he runs through these streets of this town. Love Actually. But anyway, you live in both, so that's it sounds like you're that guy. You're the guy. What are you saying here? What are you saying there? I see. Oh, hold on. NCV man says, "Why can't I see? Why did they make this smaller so I can't see? What is going on here?" Oh, stop sharing. That's what I need to do. There we go. Cass, enjoy your vacation. Do you do Panettone around Christmas time? My first day off, and I get the China flu. Oh, you got the flu? You got what the hell? Sorry, you got the flu. Enjoy your vacation. Hold it? Do you panettone around Christmas time? What does panettone mean? I'm just a kid from Brooklyn, man. I don't know what panettone means. Panettone. Somebody tell me about what panettone means. Panettone. Hold on one second. My wife is going crazy. Okay. Oh, let me tell her. I won't. Oh, she doesn't want me to come down. I'm not coming. Okay. Let me. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up. We live in a world where we can look up things when we don't know. We must learn. We must continue to evolve our minds. Panettone. Oh no, I forgot the word already. What was the word you used? Because I took the thing off of it. There it is. P-A-N-A tone. P-A-N-A tone. If my brother was here, he would know. There's panettone bread, panettone cake. Oh, it must be. You must be asking me something about like food. Like, do I sit there and make? Oh, food. Oh, I see what you're saying. I've seen this. My godfather always had this because he's Italian. My godfather always has this because he had an Italian restaurant pizzeria and people would give him this. He'd have boxes of food people would drop off him. He had at least 8 of those every time. You know what I used to do with those? I used to cut because they're very dry. I used to cut them up and dip them in coffee. But your worldly knowledge never ceases to amaze me. Oh, because I'm talking about Portugal. I've traveled a lot, guys. I have. So here's the thing. My parents thought it was important to travel, right? So when I was younger, they sent me on a tour of like the West Coast from the East Coast. That was one summer. And then 2 years later, I got to go to Europe on a teen tour. I know it's crazy. I went back as not no not no. I went back to the U.S. teen tour, not the European. But I did a European teen tour when I was 16, and I got to go to all over Italy, France, Paris. That whole thing, Switzerland, the French Riviera. Got to do a bunch of things. But since then, when I was in technology and sales, I've been almost every city in America. I did trade shows, so I traveled. I saw all of this country, and then sometimes we get to do international shows, and I would travel internationally. So I had a friend who works for J.P. Morgan, and when they merged with Chase, with J.P. Morgan Chase, he got sent there and had to live in London for 2 years. So I went there and I had a sabbatical for my tech company because I worked there for 4 years. And that's what tech companies do or used to do. When you work there for 4 years, you get a month off paid. So I went to London and stayed in this guy's apartment for a month. And I bought a train pass, an unlimited train pass. And I took the train all over the place. Amsterdam, Belgium. And then most important, then my company, when I was there for the month, said, hey, we are part of a big event, a big show in Prague. And they said, and we need somebody to demo the product and do a couple of meetings and answer questions, do a demo of the product. And I was one of those guys. Can you imagine me being one of those guys? Imagine that when I was in high tech, I was one of the guys that could demo the product and talk. So anyway, they said, what we'll do is we know you're on vacation there. We only need you there for 2 days. And it's not even like, it's like literally 3 hours a day. Like the first day is the evening from 5 to 8. We need you to go in a booth, stand there. There's going to be free alcohol, hors d'oeuvres. You stand there and talk about the product when people come over. And then the next day, we need you to stand there for 2 hours and then do a presentation in front of like 50 IBMers. And this is what they gave me. We're going to fly you from London to Prague and fly you back. So we're taking a week but we're going to do it for not 3 days, for a week. And you have to do those 2 days. That's all you have to do. And the whole week will pay for the hotel and all your food. And you get a week in Prague. And we're putting you up in the Marriott in Old Prague, right in the middle of everything. The beautiful Marquis Marriott. So, of course, I said yes. So I got to do that. And then I made President's Club. I made my sales numbers 1 year for this company. So I got to go to Spain, the celebration. And then me and my wife went to Barcelona on our, so we did that. I took her to Prague because I wanted to see Prague because I had such a great time. And then for our honeymoon, we did 1 week Prague, 1 week Dublin, Ireland. So, and then we went to Italy twice and went to other parts of Italy. So, yeah, I like to travel. I like to travel, and I recommend it to anybody who has the opportunity to travel. I heavily, heavily recommend it. We got a question from my best friend, Jets 830. He says, I'm waiting for it to pop up on the big screen so I could read it because I'm freaking blind. Chaos, I know it's an ongoing question, but why doesn't the offense look smooth with Zach Wilson? Looks like backyard football. Um Look, I think that Zach Wilson has positives and right now negatives. The hope is if Zach Wilson was able to get rid of the negatives or improve them, he'd be a great quarterback. That's very obvious because the arm talent, the escapability, it's there. The problem is, and this is my answer to your question, the reason it looks like a backyard football is because that's what happens when you have to go off script. It becomes backyard football. And the reason that it's the reason that's happening, I think, in my opinion, what the tape kind of shows, what Dom C pointed out with film. So it's not just talking at it, you know what I mean? Like just by really looking at film and looking at Mike White and what he was doing and looking at Zach Wilson and what he was doing, it's very clear. And you could also use a stopwatch and you could do this yourself. Mike White is more decisive. He gets rid of the ball faster. He doesn't always make the best decision. He's not a million times better than Zach. He has his limitations. But the reality is, and I mean, factually, it's not an opinion. It's not something that could be debated. You could take a stopwatch and you could time it. Mike White gets rid of the ball faster, which means he's staying in script, which means it doesn't look like backyard football. He literally does. Like you could hold a stopwatch and time it. First of all, he eliminates a lot of plays. He eliminates like progression number 1 before the ball's even snapped. And then he'll look up at number 2. He'll see the way the defense plays off the second guy and make a decision. Mike White said it himself, and it was very astute. He said, sometimes I read the defense too fast. Like he goes through it so fast, and then Elijah breaks open and goes, I'm open. So sometimes he makes the mistake. He reads it too soon. And that's his weakness, right? That's a negative that he has got to work on because Mike White is missing receivers. There were a lot of points left on the board by Mike White because he's going through the progressions too fast. But if you ask me, I would rather have the problem of I need to slow down my reading the progressions than speed it up because it's always more coachable and real to be able to slow something down, to slow up your progressions, right? Like he's seeing the game so fast that he's making decisions too quickly, but to train yourself to look a little longer. It's really much harder to do what we need to do for Zach, which is be faster. Because he's not fast enough. He's sitting back there too long. Which means he's not reading it fast enough. He's looking. You got to be able to tell yes or no. Am I throwing it there or am I not? That's what quarterbacking in the NFL is. That's what makes it so hard. That's why at BYU, when he had tons of protection, all it was about arm talent because he had plenty of time to read through the progressions. What we need from Zach is for him to be able to do that at the NFL level, which means faster. He has to read through the progressions faster. Now, even if you're a Zach lover and you think I hate him and you hate my guts and you say I'm a Zach hater, you have to be able to hear this and agree with that. I'm not talking to you, Jets 830. I'm talking to, Zach lovers. If you're a Zach lover, if you love him and you believe heavily in him, you have to be able to admit that he needs to read through his progressions faster. That's why he's having to take off. It's why he's having to run for his life. It's why he's having to throw off balance and making those bad, inaccurate throws. Zach is not inaccurate when he's able to follow his mechanics. When he's able to follow his mechanics, when he's able to step through and plant his feet, he's actually really good. The problem is he's too slow reading the defense. So he has to run or he's off balance. And when you throw off your back leg, that's not good. It doesn't matter that you can. People say, but he has the arm that he can. No, that's good in an emergency. There was a couple of plays yesterday where that showed. Yes. Desperation at the end of the game. We're going to lose the game anyway. He was able to throw the ball off his back leg, and miracle passes came. And it was great. I'm not going to lie. It was so much fun to watch that. You can't make a living on it, though. You can't make a living throwing off your back foot. So why does it look like backyard football? Because it is. Because it is. After 3 seconds, it's backyard football. After all the receivers have ran their routes, it's backyard football. He's running for his life, and receivers are improvising. They're trying to get in a place where they can help him. They're trying to get him to see them open. That's what it is. You can only script a play that lasts so long. I mean, the coaches aren't going to script 6-second plays. So that's what you're seeing. Look, it works sometimes when it's by design. It worked for Russell Wilson for a long time. Russell Wilson, the reason why, if you watch Russell Wilson, if you watch his highlights, you watch old games with Russell Wilson, he's running for his life the whole game. I used to think, how long could he do it? I couldn't believe it. I said, mentally, how long could you mentally do what Russell Wilson did? The kid was running for his life every play the entire game. Running and running. And I said, oh, that's great, but how could you do that every play? Aren't you mentally exhausted? Every play was a battle. I was like, it couldn't just drop back and make a pass. So the problem is that when it happens and a play breaks down and Zach is doing that, it's not, look, there's plenty of opportunity. We have great talented receivers. The issue is that when you're on the run, you're throwing off your back leg. And when you throw off your back leg, yes, Zach is one of the few quarterbacks that can do it, but at the same time, he's not accurate, like not consistently. If he throws off his back leg off balance 10 times, every other quarterback, maybe the average quarterback that's not named Mahomes or Rodgers, might be able to complete, or Russell Wilson complete maybe 2 times, 3 times, right? Maybe 4 times they can complete a pass like that. And a regular NFL quarterback, like a Mike White, 1 time if he's lucky, not even, right? So yeah, in that sense, Zach is better. He's got a stronger arm. He can off balance throw much better than Mike White. The problem is it's still even doing it at on top of the NFL 4 times out of 10, it's still 40%. You'd much rather read the defense correctly, quickly, and be able to have your feet locked, planted, step through the throw, follow your fundamentals, and be a quarterback who can throw 65 to 70% completion rate. And now people are saying, oh, completion rate is overrated. No, it's not. Yes, completion rate doesn't tell the whole story. Receivers drop passes, but that shit always averages out. It averages out. Every team has receivers who drop passes. The Jets seem to be a little more than the rest, but that's not an excuse to be 50%. Okay, so he's 63% instead of 65%. 66% because his receivers drop passes. Okay. But if you're throwing 51%, it's not because your receivers are dropping the ball. It's because you're not accurate enough. And it's not because, again, I'll say it a million times. It's not because he doesn't have accuracy. It's because he has accuracy when he's following the fundamentals, when his footwork is right, when he plants his foot and he steps forward and throws through and follows up the way you train any kid in the world to throw a football. The way every college coach, high school coach coaches their quarterback. When he's able to follow the fundamentals of throwing a football, he's very good. But if you watch the game, how often is he doing that versus throwing off his back foot? He has to be faster. If he can process faster, and there is hope, and here's the hope, because even Mike White said in an interview with Tony Romo and a bunch of guys sitting at a table in some room, conference room, Mike White said these words. He said, all of the sudden, because they said, why all of a sudden you were able to do well, right? You were a guy who couldn't get a job, whatever. Now all of a sudden you're doing it at the NFL level. And he said, it clicked. He goes, it just clicked. Because I don't know how or why. Because I started going out there and I started seeing the play. I started seeing the defense. All of a sudden I was able to tell right away. Suddenly I was going through the progressions really fast. He goes, it just clicked. Slow motion, every quarterback knows. They're trained. It's like, I look here, he's there. Do I throw it? It's all about how fast you can process that in real life time. Now, the majority of quarterbacks in the world can't do it at all. They never are good enough to do it. That's why, even in a league where we're only asking for the 32 best in the world at it, we can't find 32 that can do it. We have people that shouldn't be playing, that you want replaced, that are not productive. They're not good at it. We can't find 32 people that are good at this because it is the hardest thing in the imaginable. You're asking in 2 to 3 seconds to look at a million things. You're snapping the ball and you're having to look at a receiver and the defense and read what he's going to do and what he's going to do. And you're doing this and big men are coming to kill you. And you have like 2 to 3 seconds to do all this. And how many people do it well, really well? Because you only need 32 people alive on this planet that can do it well for every team to have a really good quarterback. And yet, there's always 3 to 5 quarterbacks. There's always like 2, maybe 1 to 3 that are clearly at a different level. And then you have about 5 to 7 others who can do it consistently well. Not at the same elite level, but well. Then you have a whole clump of 10 to 12 other guys who are the same. And if you put the right team around them, they could win. And sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're not as good. Depends on their protection. Depends on a lot of things. And then you have at least 8 to 10 quarterbacks in the league, at least 8, that the team wants to get rid of and fire because they're not good enough. Imagine on a planet as big as Earth, in a country as big as America, Canada, they love football too, where thousands and thousands of kids are playing football over the place, people fighting to do this. They can't find 32 people to do it well enough that 8, 1/4 of them are not looking for a replacement. That's how hard it is to be an NFL quarterback. That's how difficult it is. It's amazing. It's like the hardest thing. It's so difficult. That's what she said. So, I mean, this is what you're up against. That's why people and then the worst part about it is you can't tell until they're actually in the NFL, because only the NFL is that fast. You can't even tell. Like when they're in college, you can't tell that they're one of those people who can do it, because usually they can't do it but when they're in college. Like in college, they're not there yet. They can't do it yet. Right? Because you continue to develop, your brain continues to develop in this matter into your mid-20s. Your brain's still developing. So you just don't even know. I mean, and Sala says it all the time, and he's right. If Zach does do it, if he clicks, if that click happens, and Zach Wilson is one of the guys who can do it, one of the few in the world that can do it, if it clicks in his brain, he's going to be a superstar. He is. And the reason I say he'll be a superstar is because if he can do it, that means he'll be able to sit in the pocket. He'll be able to plant his feet, because just like you're seeing Mike White do, he'll be able to plant his feet because he can see it on time. He can make a decision on time. And when Zach Wilson plants his feet, when he follows the mechanics and follows through, he's amazing. I got hours of tape. You could go on YouTube and find it. Not me, but it's on YouTube. And you could see so much evidence that Zach Wilson is accurate and can throw could thread a needle with a pass if he follows his mechanics. And it's not that he's not trying, it's that he just doesn't see it fast enough. His brain is not processing it fast enough. But that doesn't mean it's forever. It doesn't mean that's why it's so annoying when people say, well, Zach could never be good. How could you know that? How could you know he could never be good? If he's only 23 and we've seen people develop the ability to process faster as they get older and more experienced in the NFL. It happened to Mike White. It happened to him. And then you have a guy like Justin Herbert who's able to come into the league, and it was from game one. Game one, he was able to do it. The point is that you can't tell. Now, now, Eric, you're. I agree and I disagree a little bit, and I agree a little bit. You need an offensive line to really be able to tell, but only to get the 3 seconds. If the offensive line on plays are giving him 3 seconds and he's still not throwing the ball, then you have to look and see if anybody was open. But the problem is when we're looking at the tape, there's moments where he's in the pocket. The protection does not break down. He has the time. Maybe he doesn't have above average time, but they're giving him average time. There's plenty of plays where you could look. You could count with a stopwatch. He's getting his 3 seconds, right? And he's not throwing the ball. And then you could look on the all-22 and see guys open. That's on him. But it's okay. It's okay because that's every quarterback in the world except for 8 or 10 in the world. Or 12 or whatever it is. A handful of men in the world are able to do it. So it's not attacking him. And people who attack him are crazy for attacking him. Because it's something so few human beings that are alive can do. But the reality is, if he's going to be the guy, he has to develop the ability to do it. And if he's not doing it when they give him 3 seconds, he's never going to be able to do it no matter who you put on the offensive line. Because it's not realistic to say we're going to give a quarterback 5 seconds of protection every time. Right? It's like you're an amazing offensive line if you can give over 3 before the pressure comes. So I agree with you and I don't agree. Yes, he needs a better offensive line. Our offensive line is not good enough. Laken Tomlinson is a bum. Trash. He took all of our money. It's worse than Fitzpatrick in 2016. He took our money, and he's playing like crap and just laughing with his money. And Herbog has come back to earth, but he's a backup, so you can't be as mad at him. McGovern is average, a little better than average, but, not special. And then you got Dwayne Brown, who's playing like in agony, who's injured, who needs surgery. So that's no help. It's not helping us. And then you got Fant, who's good. I mean, that's it. Yeah, we need help on our OL. There's no question about it that we need help on our OL. But that doesn't mean you still can't evaluate Mike White or Zach Wilson. You could evaluate both players with a stopwatch. You start with the stopwatch. Did they have enough time? If the answer is yes, they had enough time, then you look at the receivers. Was anyone open? If it's one play, fine. You're going to miss an open guy. But if you look at and find 10 plays where they were getting the 3 seconds and guys were open, and the performance out of those 10 plays is not good, the quarterback still needs to develop. And it doesn't matter who you put at OL. That never will change. The quarterback has to develop. I mean, it's like impossible to sit there and say that Zach cannot do it at 23 years old. You know what? I'm sick of the rankings. I watched the game. He was awful. Maybe the bar was really low and everybody sucked. I can't tell you why, but if you watch the game, it was like every time they ran to the left at Bam Knight, the whole first half, it was running into a wall. There was no blocking. The guy was being pushed backwards. I mean, it was ridiculous. Bam Knight was running into our linemen because they were being pushed back. So I don't care what the rankings say. Tomlinson is not playing up to his contract at all. He's killing us. He's killing us. And I'll watch it on the all-22 in slow motion and see it, but I know what I'm going to see because I was watching and paying attention to the whole game. Me and Greenman were watching it the whole game. Every time we ran left, they showed it in slow motion. Tomlinson was beat every time. I mean, he was like they were literally pushing him backwards. You're supposed to push forward on running plays. The offensive line is supposed to move forward, not get pushed backwards. He's awful. It's hard to be mad at Dwayne Brown because he's freaking hurt. He shouldn't even be playing. He's just being a warrior for us. But there's no excuse for Tomlinson to be pushed backwards. He's supposed to push forwards. I mean, it's like on running plays. The offensive linemen are supposed to like running plays. That's what this guy was billed to be. He was billed to be a great run blocker. He's not. He's a bum. Okay, he's not a bum. He's just average, but we're paying him like a premier guy. And that's the problem. Because we can't afford to use up so much cap space on a guy who's just going to be average. I'm still rooting for Zach, but he's so manningly, frustratingly inconsistent. It drives me crazy. He has to get his head and ass wired together or he'll never be a good NFL quarterback. Yeah, if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. It's not magic. I mean, it's like, and it's not lack of effort. Like everybody wants to like put it on people. It's not lack of effort. If he doesn't do it, it's not because he didn't try. It's not something we can control. I would love to be able to be like that. I would love to be able to have the brain that can process an NFL play in 3 seconds. Know where every receiver is, know where they're going to go, where the defender is going to go, and then on top of it, the physical part of making the pass. It's not because of lack of effort. It's not because he doesn't want to. It's just real. If it doesn't click, it doesn't click. I mean, and Sala said it, like you could see the frustration in his, like when he's talking to the press, he's like, if it would just click, he's gonna be so good. That's what he kept saying. He goes, he'll be fine if it would just click. They're just waiting for it to click in his brain, and it might never click. And that's the real question. The real question is, how long do you wait on a quarterback? Until that click happens, until you move on. Because there's a chance, understand, he can go from looking so bad to being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL if it clicks. If it clicks, everything changes. Now he's throwing the ball with planted feet. He's feeling confident. He's throwing it with planted feet. He's making beautiful passes. And suddenly he's this guy who, when things do break down, once in a while, could run off. He could run and throw the ball. He could run and take off. We saw glimpses of it. We see glimpses of it all the time. So while we're saying 4 years, that's the problem is do we have 4 years? Can we sit there next year and live with it? And the worst is, what if we give him 3 years? What if we give him all next season and it doesn't happen? Now we've wasted 3 years. Right? Now we have guys that are no longer like young players who have a long time left on their rookie contracts. And we wasted a whole nother year. Now, if you told me right now, if we signed a deal and you told me I could look in the future and see that if we let Zach Wilson play every game next year, it's going to be ugly in the beginning. But if you told me guaranteed he's going to get better throughout the year, by the end of the year, he's going to look really good. It's going to start to happen. And then year 4, he's going to be a quarterback. I take it. I make that deal. I live with another tough season. I live with losses early in the season. I live with the frustration, and I take it. But the problem is nobody's making us that deal. So if the reality is that we're just watching him play and he doesn't get better and we keep losing and we keep losing, when do we say enough and give up on him? That's the question. Because he's either the guy or he's not the guy. Chiefs Live. Did you change your name from Chiefs Chaos? Why? Why did you give up on the name Chiefs Chaos? Or is this another Chiefs provider? If it's another Chiefs provider, welcome. If it's Chiefs Clutch, what are you doing? Oh my God, you keep changing your name. Why? It's not the name, bro. But I will say this: Chiefs Live is a better name. It's for search purposes. Chiefs News, Chiefs Live, probably the best. Chiefs Media, those are the best names. They were already taken, so I couldn't take those names. So, But I like Chiefs Chaos. I thought it was a good name, but you're going to have to settle on one, bro. You can't build a channel by changing your name every week. You have to pick one and you have to live with it. So, Chiefs Live, that's it. Go with it. The problem is we have so many good weapons, we can't wait to wake them up for another year. I know. It's really hard. It's really difficult to be patient. It's really difficult to be patient when you have a great defense and you have a lot of weapons, but those weapons are young and they're only going to get older and it's going to be hard to keep them. It's hard to be patient. But if he would just show us a sign, was yesterday enough of a sign? I don't know. I mean, the coaching staff did see it. They saw some growth in the first half. Was there enough of a sign? And look, if Mike White can't play and they end up starting Zach, or if Mike White can play and they end up starting Zach, then we get to look at him more and make a decision. He has to show improvement. Has to. How did Zach play? Thought he did some good things, but the completion is concerning. It's exactly what it is. That's exactly where we are. We're seeing the same thing. He had some great plays. He had some really exciting plays that only he could make, only a handful of quarterbacks can even make. And then he had inconsistency and things that are very concerning. And the thing is I understand. I'm feeling it. The reason we want Zach to work out so badly and for him to get consistent is because when you watch the big plays that he makes, the special plays, it makes you realize how good he can be. Like, my God, if it could work out for him and it clicks, look how good he can be. He could be the best we've ever had. So that's why it's so hard to let go and give up on him. I'll call it as I see it. The overall product that we've gotten from Zach Wilson is terrible. But the product we got was from a 2-year-old who came from a small school, who didn't go up against this competition, who was never challenged or pressed to be able to process and do what you need to do in the NFL to be successful. And it takes time. But the ability is all there. The talent is all there. Anybody says the talent is there, I mean, you don't see talent. It's two different things, talent and then the mental part, the processing part. That's what, both have to click. Zach, when he plays for let me look what Microfox is saying. Play for an OC that tailors the offense to his strengths. He's not going to thrive with LaFleur. So, the thing that's hard to say about that is when they drafted him out of BYU is doing a lot of similar things. That's what they liked about him. Also, it seems that everybody else that comes in and plays quarterback for us in the last year and a half has done pretty well as far as production. But I understand he might be much better in a different kind of team. There's no question about it. He might just fit another offensive scheme better. But that doesn't affect us. We know that our scheme could work. I mean, nobody's going to sit there and claim that the Shanahan West Coast offense is not a very legitimate scheme. I mean, I don't know if Nick likes it, because Nick, Nick, proud New York Jets fan, he got a little brain. It's hard for him, like the West Coast, a little bit of little complex for him, gives him a headache, hard for him to follow. But some people really like it. I'm waiting for him to respond to that. You're not going to fix everything in 3 weeks. That's true. You're not going to fix everything in 3 weeks. They were literally trying to pull him back to his fundamentals, and I'm sitting there saying, yeah, but he's also missing the reps. You know what I mean? He's missing the reps. It's yeah, he's working on fundamentals, but he's missing the real game reps as far as the reading the defense thing. What he needs is an offense like Justin Fields. I don't know. Justin Fields is a crappy offense. Justin Fields is doing it by himself. Who's helping Justin Fields? Justin Fields is doing it alone. That's the problem. If we had Justin Fields, we'd probably be unbeatable. Well, that's true. I mean, Justin Fields is struggling with his passing, but let's face it, he'd be in a much better situation if he was a Jet. I mean, our offensive line might not have been great, but it's better than Chicago. I hope someone smashes your egghead. See, that's how I know he's still out there. I always got to test once in a while. I got to throw an insult at him. Either that or his son's listening, and his son runs to tell him. Uncle Chaos is talking bad about you again. Tell him I'm going to smash his egghead. And then he takes another bite of his meatball parmesan hero. And tell him I'm gonna drive the car away at the airport, and I'm gonna make him chase the car when I pick him up. Anyway, guys, well, that was our first packing to move out. I'm listening. Are you packing? Do you know where you're going? Oh my God, dude, where are you going? Packing to move out. I hope you found another place. Don't you have surgery? You're packing to move out, but you have surgery. Like, how does that work? Dude, you're killing me. All right, guys. We did our mock draft. You saw the results. It's only 1.0. This mock draft probably has nothing to do with what it's really going to look like in our own mocks by the time we get to February. And it's probably not going to look anything like what Joe Douglas does because it never does. Thursday is surgery. Good luck on your surgery, but I'll talk to you before that. Man, right before Christmas, he's gotten surgery. But anyway, everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. For those of you who don't agree with my opinions, I don't know what to say. Those are my opinions. I believe strongly in them, as you can tell. I'm a stubborn egghead. I believe in it. But a lot of the things I'm saying at least comes with evidence, like watching film. At least I'm not just listening to other people. At least I'm watching film and giving you my opinions based on what I'm seeing. I'm not sitting here just listening to other people and repeating what they're saying, because that just drives me absolutely crazy when people do that. It's like there's something called All 22. They give you both camera angles. You get to look through the plays. There's even people like Joe Blewett and Dom C right here on this very channel. Jack Kruger, there's a guy out there, Play Like a Jet, Luke from Play Like a Jet. There's guys out there that break down film all the time and tell you how to look at it. And they give you evidence and the ability to think and decide for yourself looking at the evidence without just repeating what people say. So, you know what I'm saying? I heavily recommend doing that. Like, if you're into it, if you're passionate enough. Some of you, it's okay to be casual fans. You don't got the time to sit there and analyze these things. Maybe that's why you watch channels like this. Makes sense. I'll watch the tape. I'll talk about Jets non-day on Twitter with my friends and private groups and learn from each other. And then I'll take I'll take my takeaways and I'll share it. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I could do anything you guys, what you guys would do. Some of you don't have the time to do it. But just don't be one of the people that read something and then go around put it in the chat like crazy. Like reading one thing that resonates with you and then posting it everywhere like a lunatic. like, you know what I mean? Let's gripe intelligently. Let's disagree intelligently. But anyway, again, thanks for being here. I'll leave you with this.
Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God, they don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh my God, no edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up.
Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary, they didn't take Dean, and we traded up. We can get Nakobe Dean. We can get Nakobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. They took Breece Hall.
Wow. I mean, look, I love Brees Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. He took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes. We got a Jeremy. We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge.